So Markiplier made an Iron Lung movie, and I have some thoughts. I went to go see it last Monday. I like to give myself a little time after I watch a movie to collect my thoughts on it and really come to a full conclusion of what I think. The movie's about 2 hours long. Other critics have talked about this, but the pacing is not ideal, certainly, especially in the first half of the film. It drags from time to time. It feels a little bit slow. The second half of the film, though, I really enjoyed. It's very experimental. It's a cosmic horror. It's a lot of atmosphere. The film is mainly about making you feel like you're trapped in the sub with Markiplier's character. And I think it does a pretty good job of that. I think for the majority of the film, you really do feel like you're stuck in this prison with Markiplier. I think they did a good job. I think Markiplier's performance was surprisingly good. He did a great job with communicating the abject despair and fear and horror of this character who lives in a world where humanity is going extinct, a world where hope has been lost and it feels like there's no way out. I think they did an interesting journey for his character. By the end, he decides to sacrifice himself for the good of humanity, even though he gets nothing out of it. At the beginning of the movie, that's definitely not something you would expect his character to do. He also has a rather psychedelic communication scene that's in slow motion where he meets this monster, and they never fully explain what it is, but this monster sort of talks to him. It seems like it rips into the sub, and he's in an ocean of blood, and he stands up, and he sees strange things, and the eye of the monster is right in front of him, and it seems to be communicating with him telepathically. In fact, the monster seems to communicate with him telepathically several times throughout the course of the film. I think that works. I think that was fun. I liked the experimental nature of it. I liked the fact that you're never really quite sure what's real and what isn't, and they do a pretty good job of making you feel like you know what's happening and then turning that on its head and making something else happen than what you were expecting. So overall, for a first feature film, I think it was really good. I think, like I said, there's some pacing issues, but in general, I think the atmosphere is very oppressive. They do a really good job making you feel how oppressive this sub is, how it's this small enclosed space and there's nowhere he can go and there's no escape. I think they did a really good job with that. I really liked his performance. I thought the other actors in the movie were fine. None of them particularly stood out to me, but none of them were bad. So overall, I would give the movie a 7 out of 10. And that's probably being a little bit charitable as it is that first feature film, but I think that's about how good of a movie it was. So 7 out of 10, I enjoyed it. I hope he makes more stuff in the future, and yeah, I had a really good time with it. And I hope you had a really good time with this video. And if you did, be sure to subscribe to David, the one and only David of Davids, for more. And until next time, this is the one and only David of Davids, signing off.